Hey, it's Huck. And before getting started here on today's political topics, I just want to update you on my personal situation. As many of you know, watched my last video on this channel, I was recently hospitalized and diagnosed with emphysema. I am getting better and stronger every day, and while I think my doctor would like to see me, remain off work maybe another few weeks, I need to return Monday or be officially considered medically resigned from my job. So it has something to do with the Medical Leave Act and the fact that I haven't been there a full year on my job yet. So, hopefully I'm going to be well enough to go back to work here on Monday. The good news is I am feeling better every day, and I can just avoid any more, setbacks. I should be able to return maybe Monday, and with a few good weeks under my belt, maybe with a little help, get out from under this hole I've dug myself now, being off of work a full 2 weeks, which is really kind of difficult for me to deal with. But hey, you take it one day at a time. I want to thank you all again for all your love and support. You know how much that means to me. Now, meanwhile, this has of course given me plenty of time lately to sit back and watch the world seemingly fall apart. Particularly with all of this war going on now in the Middle East again. And of course this crazy domestic violence scandal rocking the NFL. Now it seems to me this whole ISIS crisis in Iraq is a trap we never seem to recognize. Once again, we're falling for it like lemmings racing to the sea. Let's get one thing straight. This extremist group has no business calling itself Islamic anything. It's a ruthless squad of fascist Nazi types who don't give a damn any more about Muhammad than they do Sasquatch. As has been said by people a lot brighter than me, if your religion tells you to behead journalists and slaughter women and children, you're failing religion. So I have no love lost, on these guys. But what makes them a little bit different from the dozens of other extremist groups out there is that they just happen to be a little better funded and organized. Otherwise, they're just your typical lawless, soulless punks who happen to be given, some pretty modern weaponry and some military vehicles to motor about the desert in, a command structure that tells them what to do, and basically gives them the freedom to do it without any repercussions whatsoever. Now the problem here is that every time we come to the rescue in situations like this, as soon as we leave, another outfit, just like them, pops up like a diseased mushroom. And this is always going to be the case. Because, maybe 4 distinct groups holding tenuous degrees of power, in that region of the world. Since getting them to agree on anything is impossible, and since each holds power in one oil-rich country of the region or another, it's not so much religion as it is money and power and resources that are ultimately driving this from all sides. Yet here we are like Charlie Brown, who can't ever seem to resist the urge to kick that damn football every time Lucy holds it up for us. We go in, take a big, swift kick, only to fall flat on our back again and again and again. We never learn. ISIS wants us to be there. They're doing everything they can possibly think of to provoke us to do just that. You would think somebody in Washington would ask, why? Because they know that once they get us there, they can turn all their outrage and all their hatred of all of the locals on us. Well, they scurry about and hide and blend in with the locals in all these different villages. So as we bomb away, inevitably we kill, dozens or hundreds or even thousands of innocent Iraqis, which only works as fodder to help recruit more people to their organization, depleting us of untold billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars over time, that weakens our social democracy here at home. Fact is, I'm beginning to wonder if the best strategy isn't to just leave the whole damn situation alone and let ISIS actually control whole damn region of that area of the world. See how they like it. Make them govern for a little while. My guess is that the folks in these villages, with no Americans to throw their hate at, are going to find they don't like these goons any better than we do. Besides, it seems to me that before we should get involved over there, all of these other regional neighbors like Saudi Arabia, who we've funded and spent millions giving them military hardware and trained their soldiers, they're the ones that are most threatened by this. Jordan and Qatar and Saudi Arabia, why are they not fighting this war with their blood and treasure? Why? Well, why do that when you can have Americans come fight your battles? I say we should sit this one out. Hey, we can run humanitarian efforts, maybe take in some of the refugees, give asylum to any of those most critically in danger. In fact, I like that idea even more because it's sure to piss off the John McCains and Lindsey Grahams and other neocons, and it's sure to piss off the Tea Party assholes on the right who fear anything entering America that isn't white, over the age of 50, and Christian or Israeli. So if ISIS wants to keep creating these propaganda films, I think we ought to just stop watching them. Which kind of carries over to me this whole NFL thing. And it seems to me there is a related lesson in all of this that sort of combines these two completely different issues. And that lesson is that responding to every difficult, pressing issue with violence is almost always the wrong approach. Now, I don't want to hear any garbage about sparing the rod and spoiling the child, or frankly anything else that came out of the Old Testament, which I pretty much reject anyway as little more than somewhat fascinating mythology in a somewhat slanted historical perspective. As far as Adrian Peterson and the NFL is concerned, all I can really say about that is that anybody who seems to believe that he needs to take a thin tree branch, whip their own 4-year-old child to the point where the welts and cuts remain 10 days later, severe enough to get themselves indicted, well, I'd say that guy is just totally out of control. I don't care that your dad was just as big an asshole when you were a kid, Adrian. Now, what on earth could a 4-year-old do to deserve something like that? Now, I've heard all the theories about how some black men treat their kids like this, particularly, I guess, down south, out of some, I don't know, miscued cultural legacy left over from slavery. And I've heard all of the studies about, how punishing children with corporal punishment sends the wrong message. Ultimately instilling this idea that violence is the only way to react to aggression and confrontation. Well, I'm no psychologist, but I think a little common sense will tell you that if you got to give a 4-year-old a few pats on the back end to get his attention, so be it. I don't have a problem with that. But it shouldn't leave a mark, and it shouldn't leave welts that will hurt for days or scars for life. If you got to beat your kid, you got more problems than a switch is going to solve. And no, it's never all right to use violence on a kid, or a woman, or anyone else unless you're in some life or death struggle. Now, I think maybe Chris Matthews of MSNBC, of all people, had the best comment on this that I've heard. And it boiled down to saying that, he felt that everyone, from the wife to the doctor, to law enforcement, even to the jury, the courts, seemed to do everything right. Until it was left up to the Vikings and the NFL's turn to weigh in on this matter. Now, players are banned from the league for smoking pot like a 3rd or 4th time. They're suspended for games on end for making an illegal hit, made against a fully protected, helmeted opponent on the field. Yet the league does nothing when one of their own takes their massive 200-plus pound bodies and registers punishment, severe injuries, on defenseless women and 4-year-old kids. So Matthews asked, just what kind of punishment would the NFL dish out if Peterson had grabbed a tree branch and started assaulting a member of the Green Bay Packers on the field? I agree with Matthews. I'm on the kid side. The NFL seems to be on the side of the abuser. Anyway, I'm Huck. Those are my thoughts for today. I thank you for watching, I've had plenty of time to make a few videos here lately. I'm going to be going back to work Monday, but I hope to continue to be able to make a video on each of my channels, you know, on the average of maybe once a week. Generally, I hope to try to post on Fridays or Saturdays because those will be my days off. So I look forward to seeing you next weekend. Thanks again for watching, and thank you so much for your love and support. I really do appreciate it.